folks. Welcome to another edition of the KellumMD.com video podcast. Gabe Farias, Dr. Daniel H. Kellum. We are here. This is our New Year's resolution podcast. Of course, if you want to set up a visit with Kellum Family Medicine, visit KellumMD.com. Set an appointment, check on your medicines, check your portal. You can do all that there at KellumMD.com. Dr. Kellum, Happy New Year.
Same to you, Gabe.
We're going to air this before the Cotton Bowl. Good luck. How? It's right quick. I got to start by saying how fluttered, fluctuationality, if you will, did your heart participate in with that Longhorns? Because I'm not a Longhorns fan. And I was at the edge of my seat in that Arizona State game.
Well, very much.
Fluctuality, there we go.
Whatever word
Yeah.
that might be.
That was very Don King of me, wasn't it?
Yes, totally.
Fluctuality.
Actually, though, to Arizona State's credit, they were much better than anybody, or at least I anticipated.
That little running back
was good.
Was tremendous.
However, I think we...
Scatterboo, was that his name?
Scatterboo.
Wow.
Which is a great name, too.
Yeah, tremendous athlete. Very Christian McCaffrey. This isn't a sports podcast. You and I can kind of vary off on that. Did not take my Concerta. I don't recommend that for anybody, folks. Take your medicines.
Resolution.
Yes, resolution. That's number one.
Well, I think we underestimated them.
I think so too.
More importantly, watching Ohio State play. So.
Yeah, man, they're catching their stride, aren't they?
Right now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Cotton Bowl. I think right now, the best 4 teams are in it.
I do. I think as with all the gibberish that came with this whole thing.
I think they got what they wanted. Yeah. So Dr. Kellum, New Year, New You. It's always been something that you've preached. And we always talk about the need to come in, get your physical, start the year right, get your blood work. Yeah. But there's more that people need to do. Let's talk about the importance of exercise, because when people think exercise, they think, well, I need to get ready for a marathon, or I need to get ready to go, do a triathlon. It's not like that. Get out and walk. Talk about the importance of exercise for everyone.
Well, it's the most important thing we can do. And so in this day and age, so we have new tools to help with weight loss, which is really what people's primary focus is. I think often we forget the importance of exercise, but what we do know from a preventative care standpoint that 30 minutes at least 3 times a week is very, very helpful. And when we talk about these new years, it really is about a reset. And I think, we should always at least take advantage of this time to kind of reset an understanding of where our health is, whether it's through a complete physical you can get here at Kellum Family Medicine or wherever you go to get your health care. I think that's really important because when we make that reset based on knowledge, it's a far better process in moving forward in planning than if you're just exercising and assuming you're healthy. Oftentimes, unfortunately, too many people that are very active in exercise and presumably
drop dead unexpectedly.
So they fall to the genetic components, which really I think are why we do well in terms of the physicals and blood work and all of that kind of stuff. Because sometimes that you have a family history, but if you're not there looking objectively at some of the things that we look at, I think it kind of sneaks up on us. And this is not to scare anybody, but our job is to prepare people to really understand where things may be. And I think that's a big part of what we need to do, whether cholesterol is high because of genetics, or whether we see some blockages laid down because of genetics, or whether we see some precursors to diabetes, which can be genetics in some cases. We really want to understand that so we can head things off at the pass. And so this is a really good time of year, to begin and start anew, as you said, a new you. But honestly, any time of the year is a good time to really get focused. But what we want is for people to get commitment and buy-in, because we need continuality of really paying attention to your health and doing the things you need to do, because there's really a build-on process. So if you start now, next year we're talking about building onto a foundation that's laid, and the year after even more of a foundation. And so at some point we want to really build on the successes and not necessarily start over every year.
Talk about the importance of top to bottom holistic care. I'm talking about get up in the morning, go out and get you a good brisk walk in, making sure you hit your annual visits. Talk about the importance of holistic care, top to bottom, exercise included.
My personal opinion on that whole deal is that we can't be complete unless we hit all facets of things. And we're talking about exercise, diet, medication, faith and family. I mean, when you look at everything. And so when you're approaching things from a a picture of totality and you're hitting all of those things, whatever that means to the individual. I think making sure you're complete with all of that stuff is really where we gain the success of good health. And so all very important, none more important than the other, but take time for your family, take time for your faith, take time to exercise, pay attention to what you're eating, and then be aware of the things that you're advised in the doctor's office and heed them to the best of your ability, because when we work on all aspects of that, we get a nice holistic approach, and then we achieve success, because you can't be balanced in one of those areas.
Yeah.
And what we see way too often, that work is too tough, or families having struggles, or we're not quite where we need to be from a headspace perspective, or we're not taking our meds. In any of those things, we're always trying to counterbalance that with other things. And I think we do a pretty good job, as do many doctors, with that. But if people can work on being balanced with all of those areas, I think it's a much more helpful way of really producing better outcomes.
So getting a walk in, because the original topic was exercising and the importance of exercising. What are the benefits of getting out and walking for 30 or 40 or 50 minutes every day, from vascular health to knee health? What are the benefits of that?
All of those things. So, motion is lotion, is what they say. And so
nice.
It's weird, I know, but it really does make sense when you think about that. And the more active we are, the better our joints feel, the more strength we get, the better cardiovascular flow we get. But then you look at just lung health, conditioning, you get muscle strength that makes us, or continues to help us become mobile and stay mobile. And then you talk about the time period away so that you can think, you get some, maybe some time to figure out your stressors and how you want to deal with that. And so the walking has a lot of tangible and intangible benefits that I think are important, or running or biking, whatever you choose. I think it should be time that's dedicated for yourself, time not cluttered with a lot of noise, honestly, so people can get the true benefits from that. But you can't really ever put a value on how important walking is, because take somebody who requires a wheelchair everywhere they go. If they could just have the opportunity to walk freely and get in the car, I think that's really when you begin to appreciate what you're missing. And what we're trying to get people to do is understand that before it happens. And so we know that's a bit of a heavy lift sometimes, but it's really important that we work on that now.
And it's funny, because the last maybe 3 or 4 podcasts we've talked about getting a physical, getting your blood work done, taking your supplements, taking your vitamins. Now we're talking about exercise. It's all of it combined to maintain your health and wellness.
No doubt about it. It's got to be a priority in the things that you do every day.
Yeah.
So much like it is about work and your family, life has to evolve around good health, including exercise. And so you've got to plan to be healthy. Unfortunately, it's not just something that happens passively. And so if one thing we can get out of this year is that you take time in your day to work on better health and take time for that, you'll feel better. Your kids see you doing better with that, so you're passing it on generationally.
It's generational, yeah.
And that's really very important, whether we're fighting obesity or whether we're fighting lack of exercise. We want to help our kids be better than we are. And the only way that they really see that is by a direct example. And so I think there's a lot of benefit to take the time to plan to be healthy.
What's your New Year's resolution? New year, new you, new everything. What's your New Year's resolution?
Consistency.
Okay.
I want to be more consistent in everything I try to do.
Yeah. I love it when people say, I want to be the best version of myself in 2025. And like the next post after that is like, this guy or this girl all like taking shots, like that weird video where the kind of shots go like right after the best version of themselves. I guess the best version of themselves is to take as much Jägermeister as possible in the new year.
Your shoulder moves right there, though, were super interesting.
It was. You see, I was kind of like, it was more of a shimmy than a move. Yeah, yeah.
More like a shimmy.
Dr. Kellum, are the Longhorns going to do it?
Yes.
You think so?
I think so.
4 really, really good teams. I think they drew the tough one of the 2 games.
I don't disagree with
that. But if they can get by Ohio State, I think Notre Dame's waiting for them. I think a Notre Dame UT game will get Super Bowl-like ratings.
Who thought Notre Dame would be here?
Nobody. Well, they lost. Was it Northern Illinois?
Yes.
They lost that game early in the year.
That's exactly right.
Another team that I like the playoff. I like the fact that they did this. They opened it up. They offered it to 12, the top 12 teams in their eyes.
Right.
It's still a little subjective on those 12. But we whittled it down to who I think are the 4 best teams in the country.
The argument is they got it right.
Yeah.
I think, for sure. I'm surprised about Penn State, too. I did not suspect that they would be
4 very, very good teams. I'm telling you, if UT plays Notre Dame, you're going to get Super Bowl-like ratings in that game. 2 of the top premier. We want to be a part of those programs on the planet.
Tell me those aren't legends of football, though.
They are. All right.
Football.
Well, best of luck.
Thanks, Gabe.
Dr. Kellum, I know that you're a big UT fan.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm a Valdosta State fan myself. Go Valdosta State. I think they're in Georgia. Anyways, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of the KellumMD.com video podcast for Dr.
At the golf school.
I think so too. For Dr. Daniel H. Kellum, I'm Gabe Farias. Folks, stay healthy.